Hello people, I am joined by Sharmita BHATTACHARYA, and I am Jaby Koay. This is Sharmita BHATTACHARYA.
Hello.
We're gonna look at a fan of the channel's short film. This guy's name is Rahul Danav. I thought we could warm up with something interesting that a fan of the channel has created, and we can look at his video and judge it hard. Just kidding. So this is called, it's a Momo, it says Momo, semi-finalist, Best One VMC 2018. And so I asked him if it was okay to react to it, and he thought I was messing with him. This is not a messing with you situation. Rahul Danav. So here we go, let's check this out. Oh man.
I like the music. Very peaceful. This is just a sweet little pat.
Oh, fuck.
No. 5-second roll.
Wow, that was interesting. One of the hardest things with a short film is to tell a complete story in a short time span. You have to be a little bit more forgiving with that rule when it comes to a short film. Ideally, you still have a beginning, middle, end, an arc overall. Her spilling the food was not expected, and it's like, oh man, that sucks just as a normal person,
Right.
you know? But for that to be the food you've been saving up for just to enjoy. I was a little bit surprised that when the food arrived that she didn't just move straight for it.
Yeah.
You know, she kept messing around.
Because she had coins before, so coins weren't the most fascinating thing to her.
Mm-hmm.
She still seemed more occupied with that instead of the food that she had waited so long for, which
Yeah.
was kind of what was a little bit why would she have done that?
With that being said, I thought it was interesting because it highlights, even though that's probably unrealistic, that part of it highlights how dramatic something so simple can be, like how profoundly impactful that might be, like that mistake, because you've been saving up for such a long time. And I think that's very relatable, is that you're kind of careless for a split second. I guess what a lot of the world kind of goes through, which is, you know, poverty and not having food, not having enough. I did a video the other day though, it was a reaction to, said that 15 things you don't know about India, and one of the things it talked about was poverty in India, but a lot of people in the comments were saying that the poverty is way lower than it was in former years.
That would make sense. Yeah, I would believe that.
I would imagine it's still a thing. It's a thing over here too. You have people in poverty over here. You have war vets who are neglected by our healthcare system, and they end up in the streets. All over the world, you have stuff like this.
Not just healthcare. It's hard for them to get jobs.
Everything,
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything is just not right where it should be.
It gives you a peek into the life of someone who has that struggle. I thought that this being able to be executed without any actual dialogue was actually very smart. It's kind of universal in that way. Everything was done through physical language instead of it being verbal, instead of it being subtitled or anything like that. Like, you just got it.
The score was very appropriate also for the film. I felt like it was very fitting, and it had us right where we needed to be emotionally to be watching that.
Yeah, it moved me. It's one of those examples where even though the quality of the video didn't look amazing, the story was impactful enough that it still was moving. And I think that it's an example of how content matters more than the technical aspects of something. Like, what you're actually trying to say can be way more profound than the tools you're using to tell that story. Sometimes we get caught up in like, oh, my camera's not 4K, or it's got to be this size sensor, or this kind of lenses, and it's like, well, you know, at the end of the day, what people really care about is being moved. And if you can do that with an iPhone, with a smartphone camera, then it doesn't matter. I mean,
Agreed.
so I enjoyed that.
I did too. I liked it.
I wish that there was a little bit more to it at the end.
I'm curious. So, do you know what? Is this like his first short film, or
I have no information? It says Nepali short film. That's all I got.
This is almost award winning.
Almost award winning. I'm gonna live by that. Almost Sharmita's boyfriend. That's how I'm gonna introduce myself from now on, even though that's not related to reality whatsoever.
My lips are sealed.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking also when I was watching it? Because I didn't know how they were going to go at the end with it. She has it, and then she's like, oh, it's not even as great as I thought it was. Because that girl made it seem so appealing, and she was eating it, and it's like sometimes things aren't quite as worth it
Right.
just because it looks like it from the appearance. And I thought maybe that they were going to go in that direction, but then they went with the other, which was also surprising. I didn't know. Yeah,
there's all kinds of ways you could have surprised the audience at the end. I kind of take back what I said earlier, which is I thought maybe it didn't have the 3 acts, but there was. She has this objective. She wants to eat this particular dish, and so she saves up to get it. Her objective is met. That is there. You know, there's a little mini story that happens within that. What I always find surprising is this relates to reality in a way, this wallet situation specifically. You find that whenever you have hidden camera situations following a guy dropping his wallet, you'll have a derelict who comes along and actually gives it back to the person, and it happens a lot. Whereas you have people who look like normal folk who keep the wallet, who take the money, you know.
Yeah. Those hidden camera shows often say, you see that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I buy into that. And it's surprising to me because, like, for me, if I'm in that dire of a situation, I don't know that I would be that honest anymore. It's easier to be honest when everything is good. In a dire situation, you might turn to a life of crime, selling drugs, doing what you gotta do to survive, because your survival instincts supersede. They are more important than your morals at a certain point.
You honestly don't know how you would react until you're in the situation.
You don't know what you're capable of until you're desperate. You have some women who turn to a life of prostitution or being a stripper because they need money to feed their kids. Like, they have to feed their kids, and that is the fastest way to earn that money in, you know, certain circumstances, certain parts of the world, certain parts of even the US. No one wants to be caught in that kind of situation. And so for her to be in this very dire circumstance and still be honest and give that guy back his wallet instead of just trying to steal it, it makes her a more likable character.
So the ending, when the things arranged again, did they give her a new plate? Is that what happened?
It's just the same food as before.
Okay, well, the only suggestion I would say at that point, because they had it neatly ordered up again with a nice little sauce, if they want the audience to know that they just kind of put it on the plate and she's eating it, I would keep it messy as it would be if it fell. Because I was confused at the end if they gave her a new one just because it was like the nice little sauce thing was a circle again. They were perfectly lined up again, which made me go, oh, maybe he got a new one. I don't know if I can curse on here or dick. Okay, it is. It'd be a bad move for the person to be like, look, I'm gonna give you the trash on the floor, but make it look nice. You know, right before I give it to you. Like, that would.
And that's what he did. To me, that's realistic. The way that was handled, the way he treated her was all very realistic. He took her money. He can see her circumstance.
Well, no, but it's not real. Okay, if a waiter's not gonna help you out, they're just gonna be like, all right, put it back in, here you go. Okay, they're not gonna put the effort into making it look nice.
I don't know why it looked nice again. That was weird.
That's the only thing is that I'm saying is like either keep it messy because that's gonna be very clear of like you just put it all back together, you eat it.
Yeah.
Or if it's clean and nice, that means it's a new dish.
Yeah.
That was cooked in the back.
That is confusing. I think he just put it back in the thing, and he was mad. He was mad because she got his floor dirty.
Yeah.
That shopkeeper, the restaurant owner, was realistic. All of the things he did was realistic. Because it's like, you put yourself in his position, you're just trying to run a business. I was hoping that there would be this unrealistic moment, for some reason, when she came out with the money, he felt bad, and he just gave her food. She went the distance to get this. Not just give her a little bit extra, you know? I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Give her a job. I don't know.
I think it's like, because here, I mean, they don't have extras and stuff to play the part. Realistically, from when I've been in India, it's like it's not one person who comes in where you have a change of heart for them or something. It's like constantly people are asking, so you can't help everyone, right? What would really happen is like all day long, he probably has people coming in and being like, can I have food? What point do you say, I can't, you know? But with this, I mean, if it was just one girl who came in once in a blue moon, I'm sure he'd be like, you know what? I'm feeling good today. Let me, you know, like.
Yeah, I guess I experienced a little bit of that myself while I was there. This lady came up to Achara, tried to give her a flower in exchange for money, and Achara's like, I'm good. And then she put the flower in Achara's purse to like make her take it, to make Achara feel guilty. Like there was a lot of guilt tripping happening from people in the streets. And it was like the craziest thing I'd ever seen because of how aggressive they were. I was like, whoa, this is like next level because I've never seen this anywhere else. It's very tactical. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But she didn't exude any of that in her behavior or her nature. I'm not suggesting by any stretch that that's the majority of what you find out there. It's what impacted me the most in certain areas. You do get hit a lot with a number, like a huge swath of people. In Goa, that's where it happened to me also. Like one person would come up to me and then another person. It's like, you just, you know, it's tough because you want to be as helpful as possible, but you've only got so much you can give, you know. If they see one person got suckered, everybody comes and is like, you know.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like then they all heard you.
Yeah.
And that's another like obstacle you have to get through. It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you want to help, and then also, what are you really feeding? Because also you've heard of like where some of this money doesn't even go to the thing. They're being trafficked.
Pimped.
Yeah. Then you're like, okay, if I feed you this money, I'm actually giving it to someone who's going to continue torturing you to get more money.
Yeah.
So then now I'm like hurting the system. You know, generally speaking, even here, what I try to do is give food. Or give actual items rather than money. I'm like, here, have a granola bar. Here, have my water. That's not something someone else will care for as much.
It's hard to tell the difference between who is just a single individual struggling and who is part of a collective that is feeding a pimp, essentially. A pimp is just like a loose term I'm using for someone who is taking advantage of a group of people and making them do something. It might just be someone like that who created this sophisticated network of people to take advantage of suckers, basically. When you want to give, like you want to help out people. You also don't want to be taken advantage of at the same time. So that's what informs and reinforces that kind of behavior with a restaurant owner where he's like, yeah, no. Like just
no, it's not gonna happen.
Leave.
One initiative that I've seen people do that I really like is restaurants that are giving their leftovers away to people who are hungry and stuff.
Yeah.
I love that because to me it's like at the end of the day you throw away so much food anyways. So there's food left over.
Especially here, yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. It hurts my heart to see how many people throw away so much food. Just because of regulations, and I get why regulations are there. It's for food safety and all that. I've heard of some people who are actually like making contracts with these different establishments where they go at the end of the day, pick up the food while it's still wrapped and stuff, and then take it to a place where they serve it all. So that's also nice that people are taking that sort of initiative to do that because, why are we wasting so much food?
Part of the reason why is because of a fear of being sued. Because assuming like...
we're so happy here.
Yeah, assuming that like you gave food away and it got someone sick, they can turn against you and take advantage of you. A lot of corporations don't even want to take a risk. But that's corporate America for you. I don't know. But anyway, the good thing is, according to the comments on that one video I mentioned earlier, poverty level's going down and the middle class is rising. I can't say the same for here. There's a greater and greater disparity between the upper and the middle class, which is getting scary, but that has nothing to do with the video. I liked it for what it was. But the video
got us talking about it, so hey, look at that.
I appreciate this for what it is, and I think it's got a good message behind it. I hope to see more from this filmmaker. Yep. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to go to the original video. There'll be a link in the description, and give him a vote up if you liked it, and give him a comment as well. Give him your support. So I'm Jaby Koay. This is
SHARMITA BHATTACHARYA.
Peace out.